All right, let's jump right into this explainer and explore the bizarre, totally chilling reality of the world's most famous haunted hotels. Look, if you're fascinated by that weird intersection where history, architecture, and the paranormal meet, you are in the exact right place today. We're going to unpack some incredible accounts gathered from the most unnerving locations on Earth, looking at how these gorgeous hospitality venues somehow transform into terrifying hotspots for the unexplained. And really be clear, we aren't just talking about a few creaky floorboards here. We're looking at documented, century-old phenomena that still completely baffle guests and staff to this day. So, would you willingly share your room with a ghost? Honestly, that is the ultimate dark tourism question. Because, as we'll see from the source material, for a lot of guests checking into these historic resorts, sharing a room wasn't a choice. It was a sudden, absolutely terrifying surprise. Imagine it. People book these rooms looking for a nice, relaxing getaway, completely oblivious to the unseen roommates just waiting for them. Let's look at the evidence.
Destination 1. Phantoms of the Americas. We're kicking off our global tour right here, in a region where absolutely gorgeous facades hide some seriously chilling secrets.
We are looking at a wild cluster of bizarre phenomena today. I mean, you've got this deeply unsettling hotel in New Jersey that locals literally cross the street to avoid. Then, way down south, there's this eerie, totally abandoned resort just sitting quietly in the Rio de Janeiro wilderness. But honestly, out of all of them, it's the century-old Stanley Hotel in Colorado that completely steals the show as the epicenter of paranormal activity. So let's talk about the Stanley Hotel. It's this breathtakingly majestic mountain getaway, right? But it harbors over 100 years of terrifying, documented phenomena. The sheer volume of accounts coming out of this single building is just staggering. It's not some modern internet myth. This is a long-standing historical record of the unexplained, making it a massive draw for thrill seekers. And there is such a stark contrast at play here, especially in the Stanley's famous billiard room. You walk in and you expect elegant decor, rich history, quiet luxury. But instead, according to numerous reports, guests are constantly met with unseen presences. And the wildest part? The sudden, jarring sound of phantom pianos playing all by themselves. Just imagine that. You're standing in this empty, opulent room, and suddenly a full piano melody just starts up out of nowhere. Talk about completely shattering your illusion of safety. Moving right along to Destination 2, Europe's historical spirits. Heading across the pond, we are dealing with a vastly older, and let's be real, a much bloodier history. Centuries of tragedy have basically soaked right into the stone foundations here. Just look at apartment 52 in St. Petersburg, Russia. This is definitely not your typical luxury suite. It's deeply tied to the dark, incredibly chaotic history of the famously assassinated mystic Grigori Rasputin. The source notes that visitors frequently report his ghostly presence right in that very spot. It's a fascinating, if totally terrifying, overlap where legendary history collides directly with modern horror. Now, I want you to burn this number into your brain. 333. That is the infamous room 333 at London's highly esteemed Langham Hotel. The source material highlights this exact room as being heavily rumored to be haunted by a German prince who met a really tragic end. The paranormal activity is so intensely localized to this one single room, it's become a legendary bucket list spot for ghost hunters all over the world. And adding even more darkness to that European history is Wales's Ruthin Castle Resort. This is a prime example of a bloody past turning directly into a chilling present. The incredibly violent, centuries-old history of this castle has reportedly manifested into regular, terrifying ghostly sightings by very panicked guests. It just shows how places of immense historical trauma can become very active centers for the paranormal today. Next step, Destination 3, India's ghostly guests. Now here, the whole dynamic completely shifts. We're talking majestic royal palaces and sprawling film sets sharing space with restless, highly active spirits, giving us these incredibly culturally rich accounts of the supernatural. Consider the Brij Bhawan Hotel in Rajasthan. On the one hand, you have this breathtaking historic royal palace offering just incredible luxury. But on the other hand, you've got the strict, lingering ghost of a British officer named Major Burton. And get this. The most fascinating detail is that he reportedly slaps security guards who fall asleep on duty. Seriously, he slaps them. It's this bizarre, almost comical, yet utterly terrifying interaction between the living and the dead that you literally just cannot make up. Then, the haunting shifts to a totally different kind of venue at the Fernhills Hotel in OT. This stunning British-era build recently terrified some very prominent guests, creating what the source accurately calls a Bollywood nightmare. And when high-profile figures, people used to luxury and totally controlled environments, experience these uncontrolled phenomena, it brings a whole new level of intense public attention and credibility to the location. Take famous Bollywood choreographer Saroj Khan and her production crew. They were plagued by terrifying night noises and moving furniture. But here is the truly chilling part detailed in the source. They were tormented by the loud, heavy sounds of furniture scraping across the floor directly above them. And guess what? When they went to investigate, that floor above them was entirely empty. Nothing. An experience like that completely defies any logical explanation and definitely leaves a lasting psychological mark. So we've seen some pretty compelling evidence today, right? From the mountains of Colorado to the historic streets of London and the royal palaces of Rajasthan. Each place has its own unique, chilling signature. Which brings us to the ultimate question. Would you actually check in? If you are brave enough to actively seek out this world, the source material actually gives us a little dark tourism checklist. Step 1, find your haunted location. Step 2, immerse yourself in the eerie atmosphere. Step 3, try your absolute best to make it through the night. But listen, you really need to heed their final warning here. Stay safe. These are not just themed amusement park rides, we are talking about places of unresolved, potentially dangerous energy. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought as we wrap up today's explainer. After exploring all of these bloody historical tragedies, the inexplicably moving furniture, and those very real unseen presences, do you genuinely have the courage to visit these places? Just think about that the next time you go online to book a room for a nice, relaxing getaway. You literally never know who or what might be sharing that space with you. Thanks for joining me to unpack this fascinating topic. And remember, keep seeking out the unexplained.